Hi, I'm Brian Cowie with the PaperMillStore.com, and we are here at coming to close to the end of How Design Conference Atlanta 2007, and I'm here with my good friend Sabine Lenz of PaperSpecs.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm fine. Exhausted.
Yeah,
Fine.
great to see you. And it's always so much fun to see you here at the How conferences, and also to see the great work you do on your company, PaperSpecs.com. You know, one of the things that I've always thought about you, Sabine, is that you're a great industry observer. You are a designer first,
Yeah.
But your business is observing the industry, creating resources for designers to use to find papers and so on. What do you think of this house show?
I think it was outstanding. It was probably one of the most exciting house shows in the last 5 or 6 years, especially because there were so many mills coming out with new things, exciting things. As you probably all know, mills have merged, bought each other out in the last few months, and
there's been a lot of consolidation.
yes, and we're going to see a lot of changes in the market, and we can already see a lot of these changes happening here at the show, as you've probably seen as well.
You know, from the designer's perspective, certainly all the manufacturers, the paper mills, have really started to green their manufacturing processes. There's FSC, SFI, more recycled papers and so on. How important is this to the design community?
It is hugely important. Interesting enough, depending on who you talk to, they think, well, this is just another phase. Like, remember we had recycling in the 70s and we're recycling in the 80s and what have you, but this is really here to stay. And you can see this with all the mills. They're all buying into this. They're all FSC certified, they offer the option. Most of them offer a green E option. If they don't have it readily available, you can make special orders. Interestingly enough, what I just read this morning in a press release, Europe Mohawk has the first carbon neutral papers.
Yes.
Rolling Stone magazine is printing their next issues on carbon neutral papers.
Are they really?
And I'm thinking, well, here we thought we were way out there, but we're absolutely in trend.
I just picked up the current Rolling Stone with Johnny Depp and Keith Richards.
Oh, you got to share that later on.
it's an interesting article, but that is interesting about Mohawk and their carbon neutral papers. And also, you had a very interesting webinar.
Yes.
And this was your first webinar. And from our conversations, I understand that it was pretty successful. Why don't you tell us about that webinar?
I think it was incredibly successful. Thank you for asking. We had more than 400 people signing up for it.
Yep.
What we did beforehand, we did a survey among the readers of our newsletter, and just to see what do people know, what do they want to know about, and what we realized is that there's just such a lot of information about sustainability out there, but also at least as much confusion, because obviously everybody drives their own little point across in the first place. So us being, I heard that yesterday, the Switzerland basically of the paper industry, which I thought was nice.
Very neutral.
Very neutral. We basically thought it was a great success. As I said, more than 400 people. We spoke about sustainability in general. We had a lot of feedback from the people who attended. They were really excited. We only had 60 minutes, unfortunately, but we're going to do more webinars in the near future about sustainability, paper basics, other topics that are of general interest for print buyers, designers.
And it was, didn't you? You were talking with Liza Murphy of the Rainforest Alliance.
Yes.
And
we go right to the experts.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rainforest Alliance has taken an interesting position in this in Forest Stewardship Council that they're sponsoring Smartwood, who is the auditing and accounting and procedural arm of FSC here in North America, and they've aligned very closely with Rainforest Alliance. So you really did. You were talking to the source.
Yes.
And I've had the opportunity to speak to Liza a few times over the telephone, and she's a great person, very knowledgeable,
very, very passionate about it.
Yeah.
So that we're in good company, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're passionate about paper. She's passionate about it as well. So
absolutely.
It was great.
So tell me, as you when you come here, are you going to the sessions? Or are you...
Try to as well, yes.
Okay.
Definitely,
so,
because I want to know what designers are thinking about, what they're interested in, and so on.
This is exactly what we're getting to right now. What
busted.
are the... Yeah, you busted. What are the design... I mean, we talked about the environmental aspect, but as far as design concepts, what really is the hot subject that designers are talking about today?
I think specialty papers are still way out there. And that's what gets designers really, really excited. It's not that they can actually use it in their day-to-day work, but it's very inspirational. And that's part of the fun for me here, is just walking from booth to booth and seeing some of the display samples and what people have on offer. And even though as a designer I might know my client and my budget is never going to stretch that far, but it inspires me, and maybe I can utilize some of these ideas for my own projects in a more limited way. And just some of the specialty opportunities that were here were incredible.
Listen, thank you very much for spending a few minutes with us. It's always nice to see you. It's not often enough, and I really enjoyed it. And I think you came through. That you always do have good industry insights. And
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Nice meeting you. Thanks,
yeah,
bye.
great talking to you. Thanks.